Israel Adesanya vows to expose Sean Strickland, and Strickland has plans to embarrass the middleweight champion. Joe Rogan, Sean OMalley, and Brendan Schaub all speak on Sean's issues ahead of UFC 293. But before we get into the full details, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Israel Adesanya faces Sean Strickland at UFC 293. UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya made a strong statement about his upcoming fight. In a recent interview with New Zealand media, he revealed that the UFC had doubts about his match against Sean Strickland at UFC 293 in Sydney, Australia. Israel Adesanya and his trainer Eugene Bierman were interviewed in Auckland, New Zealand. They spoke with representatives from Newstalk ZB and Sky Sports, speaking mainly about getting the fight with Strickland approved. When asked about how much persuasion was needed to get the UFC to agree to the fight, Adesanya said,
"A lot. Like I said, he's an idiot, and the UFC don't want him embarrassing the company. But yeah, that's all I'll say about that. So you should thank me. You should really thank me for actually making him get the fight."
Sean Strickland is known for his outspoken and sometimes offensive language. In a recent appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, Strickland discussed various topics with Rogan, who intentionally provoked him to get strong reactions. The interview took an interesting turn when Sean Strickland openly referred to himself as white trash, drawing comparison between the United States and communist China.
I could go back to like my roots of being just a white trash. That's nice, man. I've really accepted who I am, If you have no belief, if you have no moral right, no wrong,
right,
and you're not taught this from like a stable family and you're being raised, literally America's becoming like communist China.
He also dove into his thoughts on women in the workforce and criticized the connection between big corporations and American consumerism. Despite Strickland's provocative comments and the ensuing drama, Israel Adesanya made it clear that he played a pivotal role in securing the upcoming fight. Adesanya stated, "That's all I have to say about that, so he should be thankful," after addressing the UFC's concerns. He highlighted his own efforts in making the fight a reality and expressed gratitude for the UFC's trust in his judgment. In the eyes of the UFC, Adesanya sees himself as a more reputable figure compared to Strickland. During the interview, he pointed to his coach Bierman, stating,
"I pushed for it. He knows what happened behind the scenes, and I pushed for it, and I'm glad the UFC trusted me to listen to me."
Currently boasting a record of 24 wins and 2 losses, Adesanya holds the title of UFC middleweight champion. This prestigious title will be on the line in the highly anticipated Strickland vs Adesanya bout, which is set to headline UFC 293. Did Sean Strickland's comments on the Joe Rogan Experience really have an impact on his fight with Israel Adesanya? According to Sean OMalley and also Brendan Schaub, comments made by Strickland on the Joe Rogan Experience was the reason the UFC didn't want to give Strickland a title fight.
Because word is the UFC didn't want Strickland to get the title shot because obviously he's a liability on the mic. The guy speaks his truth.
Yeah.
So the UFC was like, if this guy becomes champ, we're losing all sponsorship. I'm pretty sure word on the street is Izzy called Dan, was like, "I guarantee you I beat this guy. You don't have to worry about him." And that's how the fight got happened. That's why it took so long to get done too. People were saying visa and all this. No, UFC didn't want it to happen. Izzy went, "Hey, real quick, guarantee I beat this guy up. Just do it." UFC went, "Okay." He wins though, we're screwed.
Strickland is known as one of MMA's most controversial figures, having openly talked about wanting to harm his opponents inside the octagon during UFC press conferences and making other unconventional statements. OMalley believes that Strickland's polarizing persona made the UFC hesitate to make him the title challenger for Adesanya. During an episode of the OMalley show, Sugar expressed his thoughts on the matter, saying, "Sean really pushes the envelope. He goes to extremes. I think his appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience may have made the UFC think twice about having a champion with such a mindset. You know what I mean? From a business standpoint, the UFC is definitely taking that into account."
You think it really is the UFC not wanting Sean Strickland at that?
I don't know. UFC's so savage, but Sean just pushes the lines. You know what I mean? Which is, I think he's funny. As far as entertainment wise, like that dude posts a video, it's funny. He's on a press conference, it's funny. He's in a fight, it's usually entertaining. So I think it's just like he just pushes the boundaries so much. I think going on Rogan really made the UFC like, God, do we really want a champion that wants to kill someone? You know what I mean? That from a business perspective, the UFC's definitely looking at that. They have people watching that stuff and they're like, You know, it's not a good look for the UFC if you have this dude that talks like that.
Apart from Dricus du Plessis, Sean Strickland is the only other top 5 ranked middleweight that Adesanya has not defeated. Sean Strickland shares with Joe Rogan his diabolical plan for Israel Adesanya at UFC 293. After his victory over Abuz Magomedov at UFC Vegas 76, Sean Strickland wasted no time speaking trash about the division champion Israel Adesanya. In the interview with Joe Rogan, Strickland revealed his intriguing plan for the fight against Adesanya. With audacity, Strickland disclosed his intention to present Adesanya with a Chinese flag bearing the word SLT during the weigh-in. Furthermore, Strickland stated, "When I fight Izzy, I'm gonna go get a Chinese flag that says SLT on it and I'll bring it to the weigh-in for you guys." This bold remark showcases Strickland's unapologetic approach and his determination to get under the style bender's skin. While there is speculation about the impact of Strickland's verbal taunts on the potential fight, he made it clear that he sees Izzy as a legitimate threat. Strickland praised Adesanya as a great fighter and acknowledged his impressive victories over formidable opponents like Alex Pereira. However, Strickland also pointed out Adesanya's genetic advantages, noting, "But you know, he's also genetically so advantaged. Like if Izzy was a regular-sized guy, I'd walk through him." Strickland highlighted Adesanya's physical attributes, including his towering height of 6'3" to 6'4" and an 80+ inch reach. According to Strickland, these factors could make their potential title fight quite challenging. Thus, Strickland's candid interview with Joe Rogan provided a glimpse into his unconventional plan for his fight with Israel Adesanya. As UFC fans eagerly await the outcome of this intense rivalry, only time will reveal whether Strickland's unorthodox tactics and determination can match Adesanya's undeniable talent inside the octagon. Israel Adesanya vows to expose Sean Strickland as his Israel Adesanya is also charging ahead with determination as he prepares for UFC 293, where he'll defend his title against Sean Strickland. Adesanya's focus remains unwavering and nothing will deter him from his mission. Adesanya, with a record of 24 wins and 2 losses in MMA, was eager to secure a fight for the upcoming event on September 9th, scheduled at the Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney, Australia. The event will be broadcasted on pay-per-view with preliminaries airing on ESPN and ESPN+. Initially, the plan was to have Dricus du Plessis as his opponent, but when that matchup fell through, Strickland stepped in with his record of 27 wins and 5 losses in MMA. For a brief period, it appeared that Adesanya might not complete at all on this card. However, he expressed his satisfaction in reaching an agreement with the UFC to fight as close to his homeland of New Zealand as possible. In a recent interview facilitated by Stake.com, Adesanya discussed the negotiation process with the UFC. He emphasized that this negotiation did not strain his relationship with the organization. Instead, it was an essential part of the business aspect of the sport. Adesanya stated, "Business is business. We handle business on this side, we just keep it under wraps. We keep it in-house. Families fight sometimes, things happen. Friends fight, and you come together and make it work. We got the job done in the end."
He said yesterday that he's more Australian than you. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And more New Zealand. And more New Zealand.
Hey, I'm a Chinese champion, I'm a South African champion, a Brazilian champion, a New Zealand champion. That's what's called being a world champion. And that is never gonna go away. That's a world champion. So he can be whatever he wants, and yeah, you know, I think some people are still salty about UFC 243, but...
Hey, raise the flag, denounce who you are. We've all seen it. Izzy's a champion.
Sell your soul against a monster.
This upcoming bout at UFC 293 represents a shift in Adesanya's role compared to his last fight. In his previous contest, a rematch with Alex Pereira at UFC 287, Adesanya was the challenger. He had doubts about his ability to win because he had suffered 3 losses to Pereira in both kickboxing and MMA competitions. Adesanya's determination and unwavering focus on his upcoming fight against Sean Strickland shows his commitment to maintaining his status as the middleweight champion. His journey to this point has been filled with challenges, and he's ready to face whatever comes his way on September 9th in Sydney. UFC fans eagerly await this title defense and anticipate an exciting showdown between 2 skilled fighters. Do you think Strickland can pull off an upset? Will Israel prove once again his skills is no match for his opponents? You can let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, see you in our next video.